Okay, we're going to take a look at adding texture to an Illustrator document. Texture is a great way to add interest to the normally super clean look of vector illustration. With it, you can achieve a weathered effect or a more painterly look. So we're just I'll just jump over and show you our finished object here. And as you can see, there's still just our vector logo with a white fill and a blue rectangle background with a gradient fill on it. And the rest of the appearance of this illustration is achieved through the use of opacity masks, which is the technique we're going to be taking a look at. So I'm going to jump back over to our untextured illustration. And we're going to start with the logo. So I'm just going to select the logo. And underneath your window toolbar menu item there, we're going to select transparency. And you'll see that the palette is opened up over here. There's basically two options that are available to us at this point. Our blending mode, you can see the different choices available, and the opacity, which is related to what we're doing, but this is more of a uniform overall adjustment to the transparency of the object. So what we want to do is actually select this little fly down menu here and choose show thumbnails. This will show us both a thumbnail of the object that we have selected, which is currently white. If I select the blue background, you can see it showing up here. This blank spot here is actually going to show the thumbnail for our opacity mask, which we haven't added yet. There's two ways to do this. You can click down on the fly down menu again and choose make opacity mask. The way that I like to do it, it just seems to be easier, is to double click on that blank area. So here you see now that our object has completely disappeared. This is because the opacity mask is generally filled with black to begin with. The way they work is black means, or whatever areas are showing up in black, the object will be completely hidden, and by painting with various shades of gray, you can achieve different levels of transparency, white being completely visible. So with a white fill selected, I'm going to just grab the rectangle tool here and draw our box, and you can see the logo is showing up and it's clipped by the shape of the rectangle. Now this works very similar to a clipping mask, but opacity masks offer greater flexibility in the visibility. So as you can see here, if I were to adjust the color of that rectangle to a shade of gray, the transparency of the visible section of the logo is adjusted. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that rectangle out of there. What we want to do is actually use an image to control the opacity of our logo. Now, I've already downloaded some textures. Really, you can use any image that you want. I found a few free use textures online. Other ways of getting texture would be just going out and shooting them yourselves, or scanning it from crumpled paper, or different effects like that. It really depends on what you're looking for. So I'm just going to place this image into our transparency mask, and you can see the effect right away. Our logo has a more weathered look, and the clean vector lines are broken up a little bit by the image that we've placed in there. So you can just scale the image around, rotate it, move it around inside the mask, and see the different effects that you can achieve with that. Okay, so I kind of like the way that looks. We're going to stick with that. Now, if I try to select the blue background now, you can see that I can't grab it. This is because we're still locked into the opacity mask. In order to exit out of that, we want to click on the thumbnail for the object, and you can see now that I can grab the blue background. So we're going to add a texture to the blue background, and we'll do this by double clicking again on the opacity mask thumbnail area, and again our background is completely missing. And we'll go to File and Place. Just grab another image here, and you can see the effect that's had. We have our weathered looking background. I'm going to scale that down a bit. Now this particular image has a really cool rounded corner, rough edge border to it, so I want to utilize that. And as you can see, this is the actual border here of the blue rectangle, so we've actually cut in quite a bit to achieve the look that we're going for here. We'll just center that in there. Now we could stop there. We've added, a lot of texture already to the objects. But the nice thing about the transparency mask is the way that you can layer textures within an object. So I'm going to select the logo again, click back on the opacity mask, go to File, Place, and just grab another image that I have, drop that in there, and you can see that the original texture is still there, the crackled look, but we also have this other splattered ink look that I can adjust and move around independently of the other texture. So basically, by continuing to add more and more elements of texture, you can really achieve some interesting looks. The good thing to note is that there is a little chain link icon in between the two thumbnails. This indicates that the opacity mask is actually linked to our object. So any transformations that we do to our original vector object, the opacity mask will follow suit and adjust itself accordingly. So we always maintain like this broken look up in the corner and that sort of thing, so you can rotate it. If we wanted to move it around individually, we can just click on that, and now you can see that the texture is actually changing with the moving around of the logo itself. I'm just going to undo that. I liked it better before. We'll relink that, and we're done. So that's adding texture to your Illustrator documents with the use of the opacity masks. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment, and if this has proved useful to anybody, I'm sure that I'll take the time to create another tutorial.